Hey everybody, it's me, Dan Harris here at BettingPros, here to talk to you about my top 5 player props for week 3 of the NFL season. Now, all these props are supported by our prop bet cheat sheet over at BettingPros, which you can find at bettingpros.com/props. So make sure to check that out if you're ever looking for an edge in your player props. Let's get started. All right, let's get started with Tyler Lockett going over 73.5 receiving yards at -115. Lockett is coming off 2 monstrous games here, and the Vikings defense, and in particular their secondary, has looked pretty terrible this season, despite looking like they might be an above average unit coming into 2021. That includes primarily Bashaud Breeland, who has just been torched in coverage so far in 2 games. Lockett lines up in Breeland's spot on the left on most snaps, so we should see him in coverage on the majority of the plays. The total in this game is 55 points, so there are going to be a ton of yards and a ton of points here, and the Seahawks under Shane Waldron are airing it out with regularity. It should be another huge game for Lockett. All right, let's stick in that same game and pretty much an identical line and talk about Justin Jefferson and going over 73.5 receiving yards at -110. Now, Jefferson hasn't yet gone crazy this year, but he does have 19 targets through 2 games and a 31.3% target share. We just talked about the high total in this one, and Jefferson has a particularly enticing matchup against Trey Flowers, who is currently allowing a 78% catch rate. With Dalvin Cook a little banged up and the Vikings needing points to hang with the Seahawks, expect Jefferson to sail past his yards total. Next up, let's talk about an under, and that is Mike Williams going under 5.5 receptions at -105. Now, Williams is playing absolutely outstanding football right now, and he has 15 receptions in 2 games. He and Justin Herbert look in sync, and he and Keenan Allen have basically put up the same underlying numbers so far in terms of usage. Now, this should be a shootout with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are allowing 267 passing yards per game, but only one receiver has topped 5 receptions so far against them, and that was Hollywood Brown with 6. And this kind of goes to what we saw last year. You attack the Chiefs on the ground or more with their tight ends, not wide receivers. Williams should do well here, but the reception total is a little inflated in my mind. I have him at 4.9 receptions, which sounds like a little, but does suggest a decent edge. Next up, let's go to David Montgomery going over 60.5 rushing yards against the Browns. The Browns' rush defense has played very well so far and is currently 6th in defensive rush DVOA. But Justin Fields is going to be starting at quarterback for the Bears at this one, and a rushing quarterback improves running back efficiency pretty much across the board. Montgomery has received 36 carries through 2 games, and there's no reason for that pace to change in this one. That means all he has to do is average 3.4 yards per carry, and with Fields opening up some gaps, it's highly likely that he will. Now, absent breaking a huge run, he may not fly past this number, but he should clear it with some wiggle room. Finally, let's go with Matthew Stafford under 308.5 passing yards at -110. Stafford is off to a fine start. He is averaging 300 passing yards through 2 games. And now you have the Bucs defense that has allowed over 350 passing yards per game and can stop the run. So you want to go over this prop, right? No, I don't think so. The Bucs are going to get a ton of pressure on Stafford, and he banged his thumb against a helmet during a pass last week. Now, he seems fine, but that is the type of injury that can linger, particularly if he gets hit again. And really, Stafford did not look great against a mediocre Colts defense last week, and I could see him struggling here against Tampa Bay, even though it hasn't been great against the pass so far. This total in this game is astronomical, but I think even with 2 explosive offenses, the defenses here are undervalued, and it might be a little more of a slugfest than we're thinking. And that's going to do it for my top 5 player props for week 3 of the 2021 NFL season. Make sure you're subscribed here over at youtube.com/bettingpros so you don't miss this video that's going to come out each and every week going forward.